Personal finance expert and me, Vest founder Lesley-Anne Scorgi, joining us on Canada Now. And Lesley-Anne, your latest article in The Star discusses the 90 draining days on your wallet when moving, and that's besides the initial moving costs.
That's right. So we focus so heavily on the lead up, the build up, getting your down payment ready, first and last month's rent, but never is the first 90 days after the move given enough airtime. Those 90 days can be extremely financially draining. I'm talking about hookup costs for utilities. You know, it's beyond the pizza. It's so much more. And you've paid you probably have paid your movers at that point. But the fact is, most people are underprepared for the cash flow adjustment that happens right after they move.
Yeah, and I'm glad you spanned it at 90 days because it could be as long as that. At least the effects of it can be as long as that. Because you mentioned the hookup fees and ongoing utility fees, the insurance to consider. There's a lot of those things that build up.
That's right. And, when we talk about utilities, we have gas, hydro, waste, water, internet, cable, alarm systems, and so much more. There's also tenant insurance. And here's something: if you've moved, for example, you may have a double effect where you have insurance changes not only to your home policy, but your auto policy too. So there's so much that can really change in that first 90 days. Now, the other thing is, most people, when they try to move up, right? They're moving to a larger place in 80% of the cases, not all the cases. But that also just tacks on then the regular increased costs of rent, mortgage, and, you got to heat that house and cool it too.
Yeah. Well, and there's the stuff that you need, like you listed all of them. And that can be a long list as you've highlighted. So list what you would need as you say in the piece and space out paying for them as well.
That's right. So my advice is go slow. So I know when you move into a new space, because we did 2 years ago, all you want to do is furnish every room and have it beautiful. But the best thing that you can do is actually take your time. So when you move in, there is a long list of what you're going to need. But urgently, you're going to need some groceries because most people move empty fridge to empty fridge and without cleaning supplies. And so those are going to rise right to the top of your list. But things like home improvements and furnishing, my advice is over your 90 days, create a little bit of a roadmap. So maybe in month 1, that's when you're going to get the couch. Month 2, you're getting the upgrade to, the dining table. Month 3, you're starting now to visualize some other repairs or maintenance. So you may not need to get your ducts cleaned right away. Maybe you can wait 2-3 months because we're in that kind of transition period in spring. But the idea is that creating a little bit of a roadmap can be extremely easing in terms of your cash flow, but also your stress level. Just a framework to work within.
Okay, so but given the pandemic, where is the priority for the home office?
Oh, I think it rises right to the top. And you and I know this intimately well because we talk to each other every week in the exact same space. So when you look at what is most important, if you're working from home and you know that you need to create or convert your den into an office, make sure your money is going there first. So we don't want you getting hurt or having repetitive strain injury because you don't have the right keyboard or desk or whatnot. So when we look at what's happening over the next, probably 9 to 12 months, it does look like those who were kind of working in offices are probably going to remain at home, which means when we look at your priorities and where your money should be going, it is about ergonomics and health in your home office.
And while we mentioned this, speak to your work because they might lend a hand with that, right?
100%. So a lot of workplaces, not all, but most of them have subsidy programs and you can take advantage of that. Now, let's say you don't have one of those. We may, I don't know if it's going to happen this year, we may have some additional tax credits like we did for the 2020 tax year, where if you made some improvements to your space, you could actually get some benefit back on your taxes. Not totally sure what it's all going to look like in 2021 tax year, but just keep your receipts and make sure you're just keeping a little bit of a log of, how many days you're working at home and what you've spent money on in order to improve your space.
So this 90-day budget that we're setting up, what should the budget benchmark be for housing costs, for food, etc.?
So all your housing costs together, so rent, or if you have a mortgage, your utilities, we try to keep that under 35% of your take home. So those are kind of the essentials. But then we get into things like groceries and kid costs, which by the way includes childcare. So we try, it also includes takeout, by the way, in like your food and child expenses. We try to keep that under 20% of your take home pay. And it's for good reason, because we need to create space in other categories, such as if you've got some travel or some car related expenses, you want to put money there. But you know me, like my most important encouragement is to make sure you have an allocation for some savings for the short term and also some investing. So your saving and investing component should be 5% and 10% respectively. So I get it. I just chopped up your money really fast and we don't have a lot of money left over, but you should know that the best budgets in the world always have an allocation for total wellness. So that's the fun stuff. We try to keep that under 10%.
Okay. Well, and you mentioned the investments. You mentioned the contributions you would be putting towards savings. Maybe during this 90 days, if you're really tight for some coin, maybe that's where you can peel it back and say, all right, I'm taking 3 months off, but when 3 months is done, I'm back in it.
Totally. I think it's fine to pause for 90 days. It's fine. But what you can do to kind of outsmart yourself is make sure that you've actually gone ahead into your online banking and rescheduled the automatic contributions for after the 90 days. So just actually look at a calendar and then choose 90 days ahead and then have them start after the 90 days again on a monthly or biweekly basis. That way you won't forget, and a year or two goes by and you go, oh my gosh, I forgot to make TFSA contributions for 2 years.
Yeah.
We want to avoid that.
Or just avoid your putting it off and finding that this money is placed in of more immediate concern that you think is a little bit more urgent, but you got to think of everything, especially after the 90 days. So that 90-day period during and especially right after, if you're feeling absolutely tapped, like, is that a normal thing, Lesley-Anne? If you feel like, wow, I'm really stretched here.
You are in a normal period, a financial moment in life. And in fact, when they look at stress points in lifespans, moving is one of the 5 major stress points. And it is largely because of finances. It's that initial 90 days that are really draining. And I want to assure you, if you're listening right now, you are not alone. It's going to take some time to level out your cash flow. My best advice for you is take the 90 days and just lay low. Don't start any home renovations. Don't outlay any big cash expenditures for anything. Just lay low, adjust to your space, try and enjoy what you have, and you'll find that leveling out does start to happen. You'll feel so much better at the 100-day mark.
Well, and look, hey, the moving, that might actually make you some money. You might make a little bit of money, because I don't know about you, Lesley-Anne, but when I move, that's when I throw out the most stuff, or I can get rid of the most stuff. So that's an opportunity to donate, of course. But if you want to sell off some stuff, that's a good time to do it.
Absolutely. You know me, I love to purge, and I sell like every week. I seem to be selling something, or in this case, because my little guy is about to move into a toddler room, we're like trading in certain things he's not using anymore and using that money to go and buy secondhand toddler beds and whatnot. It's great for the environment, and it's also great for your checkbook. So why not? And have some fun purging. It's a great way to raise some money.
Oh, it's other than somebody canceling plans with me, getting rid of stuff in one way, shape, or form makes me the most happy. Check out mevest.ca. Personal finance expert, Mevest founder, baby Hank's mom, toddler Hank's mom. That's what we got to do. Lesley-Anne Scorgie, Lesley-Anne, appreciate it. We'll talk again next week.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right. Thank you. We're going to